Hey everybody, we're going to be talking about anti-aging today. Not a topic we do very often, but we all want to look good. We're all a little vain, even if you don't want to admit it. I'm not vain at all, as you can tell. I'm not wearing a three-piece for
like
fun.
Steve Jobs right now.
You do kind of look like Steve Jobs.
I was like, my face is the focal point. I'm just kidding. That's very vain.
Decision fatigue. Anyway, I'm Dr. Oubre, functional medicine doctor.
I'm Aubree, functional nutritionist.
And we're going to be talking about anti-aging today. And we're going to start in a place that you may not think we're going to start. But today we're going to be focused on mainly complexion and anti-aging, wrinkles, all that stuff. And we typically start with what, Aubree?
The gut.
So, not the face?
Not the face, no.
You're going to treat the face by the gut?
Yeah. One thing I will
crazy.
say, no, I know. So the first and foremost, which I'm going to have two parts to this, we should utilize external skincare when we can. We absolutely should. There are just some things that, I'd say like estheticians, they do have a leg up on them, on us, naturally what we can do. But anyways, I just want to give you permission for that. But just know that the less you do work on yourself, the more money you'll have to spend, and then you won't necessarily get the same results.
That's right.
So everything comes from the gut. So I like to think of our skin as a warning sign, or as like hey, something's going on down here. It's our most outward reflection of what's going on internally. So when you look and you have, say, dark circles under your eyes, when you have different patches, different acne, different rashes, even skin discoloration, a lot of the time something's going on in your gut. And we see that really commonly, especially with dysbiosis. So that's overgrowth of yeast, fungus, mold, you name it. Everyone's going to have an issue with that at some point, whether you think so or not. You don't have to have digestive symptoms to have that overgrowth in your gut. Sometimes the worst cases have no digestive symptoms, but it's all outward appearance. So one of the things that I'd say first and foremost is always changing nutrition before you can see a functional medical doctor to actually get a scope in seeing what's inside of your gut. And the biggest things that you can do for your skin and for aging is reducing inflammatory foods. So we talk about this all the time, but I say one of the most common foods that not only kind of increases inflammation, but gives you a direct impact on your skin is dairy. Most people who consume dairy will get acne, they'll get even little rashes around the side of their head, they'll get some type of irritation. Women primarily, I guess, and men. Women a lot of times see it right in here too. There's a difference between hormonal acne, and you'll go through all this like face mapping, but at the end of the day, the gut's the gut and it affects the face. So I'd say dairy is one of the biggest ones, gluten as well. When you think of the gut and kind of like what your skin needs, you have to realize that everything you eat and everything you take in feeds and nourishes every part of your body, including your skin. You have to stay hydrated. That's one of the biggest things. You can't keep lathering on hyaluronic acid.
There you go.
Ooh, that's a mouthful. Without being hydrated on the inside as well. So reduce inflammatory foods, increase hydration, and you want to get as many nutrients as possible. Sometimes, like the ketosis pilaris and any of the chicken skin you have, it's a vitamin A deficiency most of the time as well. Yeah, that's what my mom used to call it. We're Southern though. So vitamin A deficiency, which you can get a lot of that from things like sweet potatoes. So it's all about going through and figuring out what do I need from food? So nutrient density is first and foremost, and vegetables are going to be your main key on that one. There's so much we can dive into, so I kind of just hit a few topics on that one.
Right.
So unless there's anything that...
So we've done plenty of videos on the gut, so we don't need to go in full detail about that right now, but she gave you a few tips. Of course, for topical things, you use your estheticians. We're not going to go over everything today, but I wanted to go back to no matter what the cause of acne or skin blemish or whatever it is, it almost always goes to the gut. So it doesn't matter if it's hormonal acne. If it's hormonal acne, there's still something going on in the gut or inflammatory. I used to have terrible acne as a teenager and went into adulthood. I was taking doxycycline and all kinds of stuff to manage the acne, and it worked. But all those antibiotics, doxycycline is an antibiotic, and so it did a lot of work on my gut, not in a good way. And but ever since I've been able to change my diet, reduce inflammatory foods, heal my gut, I really don't struggle with acne at all unless I eat gluten or dairy. Those are my two triggers. And so the skin is the outward reflection. So of course, fix your gut, decrease inflammatory foods, use your esthetician. But one of the things I wanted to kind of promote today was really Retinol and tretinoin. It's not something we sell. That's a pharmacy thing. But instead of taking doxycycline, one of the things you can use on your face is tretinoins or Retin-A. And the biggest mistake I see with tretinoins and Retin-A is that people put too much on in the beginning. They think it's just a cream, they put it all over over, and then their skin gets really red, kind of hot and inflamed, or they go out in the sun and it tears up and like, oh my gosh, I'm allergic to that stuff, I can't do it. Everyone should be able to tolerate Retin-A and tretinoins. Now be careful in pregnancy, that's a longer story with your pharmacist, but everyone should be able to tolerate tretinoins and Retin-A. You just have to start small.
Right.
So usually what I tell people is take whatever dose you're going to do and put it on your fingertip and dab around your face so that you can get an even spread. Or like if you're having trouble, like, oh, I missed a spot and I want to get every spot, then take some lotion that you like for your face and compound your own tretinoin. If it's too much, then just put some lotion and the tretinoin, mix it up, then dab it around your face, and you can dilute your own Retin-A basically. Another thing you can do to reduce the dose so you don't react as heavily is you can just skip days. So when you're first getting on it, do it twice a week or do it 3 times a week. Let your skin adapt to it, and as you adapt to it, then you can get to where you put it on every day. I'm no dermatologist, but I've heard that if you can get to the higher levels, it actually does it more and more. So you have to work your way up to that. And so you might start at a 0.05 or a 0.025, but work with your physician if you want to get to the higher levels. So tretinoins help with acne very well, but they also are one of the main things that decrease wrinkles, production of wrinkles. But also, if someone's taken retinoids for 10, 20, 30 years, you can almost always tell that they look younger than their counterparts of the same age. So for women, you can get makeup products, I think, with tretinoins and stuff in it, but mostly it's going to be found in creams that you would put on at night or something. So talk to your doctor. The other thing I like to warn you is if you're going to get tretinoins from the pharmacy, you're going to get whatever that pharmaceutical put in that skin product. And you may not like some of those ingredients. Just because it's a tretinoin from a pharmaceutical place doesn't mean you like the alternative ingredients in it. The whole thing is not tretinoin. It's 0.05% tretinoin. That means it's 99.95. 99.5, I don't know, whatever the math is. Majority is other stuff, okay? So another thing you can do is you can work with your local compounding pharmacy, ask your physician to send the tretinoin as a compounded prescription to your compounding pharmacy. Then you can go talk to your compounding pharmacist and say, hey, I want a really clean lotion that I know the ingredients that you trust that will actually help my skin in addition to the tretinoin, and they can compound it for you, make a nice clean product. And tretinoins are generic. It should not be very expensive. So if they're charging an arm and a leg, shop around until you find a good price.
Yeah.
So there's plenty you can do in the anti-aging world. We don't talk a lot about that a lot, but we just wanted to make sure you knew that the first step in treating your skin is treating your gut. If you improve your gut, your skin will naturally have a glow. Last but not least, actually, I'll end with this. Women and estrogen is a big deal. So if you're menopausal, I'm a big fan of hormone replacement. I've talked about that in other videos, but it is very difficult to keep your skin fluffy and doughy without estrogen. Skin just kind of naturally dries and you lose the volume in your face and things. So I'm a big fan of estrogen post-menopause, but that's for my hormone videos. So that's all on the anti-aging today. Leave a comment, subscribe to our channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.